That's about as American as it gets, bro.
It's America.
Is this thing on?
Check 1 2 1 2.
It's fucking crazy.
They're invincible, indestructible, and he's living for like 10,000 years.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
For Greatness podcast.
We got Jeffrey Jones. You want to keep probably about. You want it pretty close to your mouth. You can hear yourself in your headphones. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. I can hear you too. We got Jeffrey Jones, Alex Jones' cousin, on the podcast tonight. You, let's see. I'm going to turn this camera and I'll be right back. I just want to get you on this camera. I got it turned. There we go. Bam. We're good now. Mic drop without my permission. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and talk about some of the things that we were just bringing up, because sometimes we get going and gets a little bit out of control. But I wanted to hear what you thought about the Jeffrey Epstein thing, because you sent me that video and it was mad interesting, dude.
Oh, the one with the Overstock.
So that's the CEO of Overstock.
Yeah, that wasn't with Jeffrey Epstein though.
What was he talking about? I'm trying to remember.
That was
that was the Russian.
That was the Russian agent, the one that was with the NRA.
So what's her deal? Who is that?
It's I can't remember her name.
Yeah, but what is she like?
They did arrest her. She came over here. She was promoting like Second Amendment stuff. She contacted the CEO from Overstock. He had done some work with the government before. He has like a low clearance, security clearance. Whenever you get one of these clearances, if someone from another government approaches you like that, like she approached him, he has to let the proper
keep that close.
He has to let the proper officials know about it.
So he worked for the government and then created his own website.
Well, no,
or his business.
From what he said was he's a self-proclaimed hippie.
And that's why you're interested in him. No, I'm just kidding.
But he had a friend that was killed. He helped the government with that. And then some years later, he did some stuff with some Wall Street stuff, worked with the government. So that's where his connection with the government was. They had asked him to start a relationship with this girl, this woman.
That's weird right there to me, that they come up and ask him to start a relationship.
Well, he went to them first and let them know that she approached him. And then, like, you saw the whole interview was scattered. It was like 22 minutes, prime time, no commercials, and Martha,
it was great.
Yeah, Martha McCallum was interviewing him.
What did people search to get that? Do you remember?
It's on YouTube.
Just in case somebody wants to look this video up that we're talking about.
I'm pretty sure you can, if you do Martha McCallum, and
Martha McCallum is the lady's name that was interviewed him.
Yeah.
And now she did a great job.
Yeah.
She was up in his ass, bro.
Yeah, Martha McCallum Overstock, and it's the first thing that pops up on YouTube.
Is it Maria Butina?
Yeah, she's the business person in the...
No, she's the Russian.
No.
Maria Butina, she's the Russian woman.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
I wanted to get her name.
And, Maria Butina. But, when she contacted him, he had a relationship. She was trying to make contact.
That sounds good.
She wanted to make contact. She made contact first with the Hillary Clinton campaign. After that, she wasn't really interested in Hillary. She was focused on Trump, Rubio, and Cruz.
And was her goal was to like sway these people for the NRA, or
no? She wasn't with the NRA. I don't know if that was the cover she used or what, but I don't know what the deal was. I think they had. He said something about blackmailing Hillary Clinton, and he wouldn't say what they had on her to be blackmailed. He said the Justice Department has that now. He said that he felt comfortable when Attorney General Barr became the Attorney General. He said he didn't know the man, but he felt like he could trust him. That's when he went to the Justice Department for it, to let them start investigating, because he started hearing things on the news and started putting things together. I mean, it goes back to the that whole Steele dossier on Trump, that was completely bogus.
So she's just like stirring up shit.
I don't know. I mean,
Nobody really knows what.
That whole interview was like hard to follow, because
It was hard to follow.
It
was like listening to Alex Jones almost.
Yeah, this dude was like all over the place.
Yeah,
But-
so that interview was like super interesting to me though, like the way he was acting all jittery and shit.
Yeah, and Dan Bongino is someone I listen to, and one of the few people I actually trust. He does his research. People that he's a former Secret Service agent. He has a podcast on his own. Himself is the Dan Bongino Show. It's on YouTube and Spotify.
And that's somebody you trust their
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, and some of his, like I said, he's former Secret Service. Some of his sources, they believe this guy. They believe he's credible. But
Is that what put you on it, to the video?
Yeah, actually, it was Dan Bongino, because he started getting all these emails and stuff and messages when this interview, right after this interview happened, and he went and checked it out. But the guy from CEO, he said that the Justice Department lost all interest in this once they weren't focused on Hillary no more, and they were focused on Trump, Cruz, and Rubio. And the Russian agent they had it set up where she was going to meet Trump. They were going to, Trump's supposed to be coming out of the back door at a campaign event, and she was supposed to run into him and meet him. And
To try to get info. Like insider.
I guess this guy from CEO, the CEO from Overstock, asked the Justice Department, hey, do you want me to take her out of the country, take her to the Bahamas, take her on a trip or something to keep this from happening? They were like, no, let it happen.
Damn.
And that is not something that the Justice Department normally would do. They
Right.
would want to stop it. They would normally give the candidate a heads up, hey, you got foreign operative that's trying to make contact.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. They were setting this up so that they could do this whole Russian hoax
Damn.
with Trump. And more stuff's coming out. I was listening to Bongino today. There's some stuff with Brennan that's kind of hard to follow, especially if you don't know the background. But it looks like there's going to be some charges coming with some of these people that were involved with this whole Spygate thing going on.
Damn, dude.
And see, they were they were blasting Trump. I don't know if people remember it, but he said something about they were spying on his campaign, and they oh, you're crazy. And come to find out, they were spying on the campaign.
What the fuck,
Yeah,
dude?
and this was all Obama administration. The guy from CEO said that the top 3 people that the stuff was coming down were all high up in the Obama administration.
Yeah.
And he said they were names that we would know, but he
Couldn't say.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said he was kind of scared to.
Yeah, he was told not to come forth with this information.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, so
What do you think happened to Jeffrey Epstein?
who knows, man?
What do you think? What was your first inclination when you heard?
I want to believe that the Clintons killed him, but honestly,
Maybe they did.
yeah, it could. Most likely, it was probably jail negligence. They left this dude alone.
Yeah, but do you think they were paid off to turn their heads?
they could have been? I mean, that's something we
You
never
think he
know.
could still be alive, and this whole thing is
No, that dude's dead.
You think he's
man.
definitely dead?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is kind of funny though that this dude's over 6 feet tall, and he hung himself in a jail cell and had they said the certain bones broken, And I just don't see, like, he had to, like, lean over and basically choke himself. So it ain't like a normal hanging where you, like, got that short rope and a long drop and it's going to snap your neck. You know, this
See,
is
to
like,
me, I feel like somebody could have came in and they could have said, look, like, hang yourself, kill yourself in here, and your family and your grandkids and your kids and your grandkids' kids, they'll be all taken care of. And then he's just like, fuck it. It's either kill myself and my whole family's taken care of, or go to jail.
This is a billionaire was a jet setter. You know.
Yeah, but how is he a billionaire?
Who knows, man?
Yeah, what the fuck? How do we not know? Dude, somebody gave this guy a $70 million mansion. Did you know that?
No.
Somebody gifted him a $70 million mansion in New York, dude. Gave it to him as a gift.
Well, I know there's some stuff coming out now. It's something to do with MIT and some donations that were funneled from Jeffrey Epstein through Bill Gates. I don't know the stuff behind it, but yeah, Bill Gates' name's come up in it now, and I mean, there's a lot of big money players that were involved with Jeffrey Epstein.
Dude, that's so sketchy.
It really is.
It's so sketchy.
Yeah.
The dude's a fucking pedophile, right?
Yeah, straight up. I mean, that
had an island, pedophile island.
And see, that was like the whole thing with the MIT thing was like these don't like he had been charged and convicted in Florida. That's why that one official with the in the Trump administration resigned, because he was the prosecutor or the state attorney general for Florida or something like that when it went, and basically Epstein got a slap on the wrist. So like when this money went to MIT through Epstein with Bill Gates or whatever, he was already convicted and a known pedophile. That's why it was such a big deal, and MIT was trying to hide the money that it came from Epstein. Because
he had been convicted of something previously.
Yeah, and that's the reason the Trump administration official had resigned, because he really didn't get, like, I think he got like house arrest or something. It was like, you know, it was something that
should have been way worse.
Yeah, the punishment definitely did not fit the crime.
No.
With this one, you know.
Well, I heard that also that one of the judges, somebody came to one of those judges and said, he's way above your pay grade, buddy. Like, you give him the lightest sentence you can give him. Like intimidation factor
if he's
type shit.
hanging around with Bill Clinton and other like politicians, Bill Richardson, the governor from New Mexico, his name's been tied into it. The left really wants Trump tied into it, but you know.
Did you watch Steven Crowder break this shit down?
No, I didn't.
It was fantastic.
No.
It was fantastic, dude, the way he broke it down, and it was like a 10-minute video. If y'all are listening to this, look it up. Steven Crowder breaks down Jeffrey Epstein's suicide, and it's fantastic, dude, like how he talks about, and now he's kind of biased, you know what I mean, as far as like he leans pretty right, but it was interesting, and it was great how he talked about Trump and how they wanted to pin it on Trump, but like Trump removed himself from the situation. It's like a known fact.
Yeah, like 15
it's a known
years
fact.
ago.
Yeah.
He had.
What the fuck did I do with my e-cigarette, dude? Did you see what I did with it?
No, you just had it because I heard it.
I got
right
it
there in the glove.
Put it in the damn baseball glove. That's my daddy's first catcher's mitt, dude.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, ain't it?
I noticed I
busted
was
that
watching one of your podcasts. Was that a Mudcats hat you had on?
Yep.
I got the same hat.
I seen you wear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that hat.
I was like, damn.
It's a nice hat, dude.
Yeah.
So you're like nobody would expect you to be a Trump supporter if they just met you, and
I get that a lot.
Yeah, I know you do. And Tim was saying the same thing. He's like, man, I would never think that guy would be a Trump supporter. And but me and Tim both voted for Trump, and I've said it on this podcast a number of times, and I've had a lot of people that are pretty left leaning on here, and it's, I mean, we argue a little bit, and it never gets like too heated, because it's usually my friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But none of them can really believe I voted for Trump, and I'm like, bro, over half the fucking country voted for Trump.
Well, somebody asked me why I voted for Trump. I was like, I'm a white straight male. Why wouldn't I vote for Trump?
What'd they say? What'd they look like?
I mean, what can you say? You know, I mean, but
dude, I would definitely vote for a woman, but we would have to have somebody that was fucking powerful, dude.
It had to be the right woman.
Like a badass woman, dude. Hillary Clinton is not anywhere
No.
close to being what needs to be for.
And
Because the
it-
first woman president's got to be a bad bitch.
I would
dude.
have I would have voted for Elmo over freaking Hillary Clinton. So I mean,
I
it
think
was-
Trump's got a second term for sure.
yeah,
Especially if they pick Biden, bro. Dude, if Biden gets up there, dude, Trump's gonna eviscerate him. He'll probably have a heart attack on the podium and fucking die. Dude, he's bleeding from his eyes the other day. Did you see that?
yeah, that's what happens when you sit there and molest these, kiss these unvaccinated kids.
Yeah, dude, I saw he was bleeding from his eyes. I'm like, holy shit, dude, you were unfit to be president, bro. You can't do that.
But the same thing with Hillary. You know, like the election's coming. She takes a month off. I don't know if you remember that or not. It was like
she was not healthy either, though.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was like September. The election's in November, and she's not doing anything. She's like literally took a month off, and it's like why? And there was like videos of her like passing out, like kind of fainting.
And Donald Trump's like
Yeah, he's
sniffing a bunch of cocaine. Nah, I don't know what he does, but he's jacked up,
dude.
boy.
I saw him Monday night in Fayetteville.
How much energy did he have?
Dude, he has a lot of energy, but the one I was impressed with was Don Jr.
Don Jr.
And Newsweek just came out with the article. It was like an editorial article talking about Don Jr. running in 2024.
Me and Jeffrey both agreed, just for the record. Remember where you heard it first. I meant to wear a hat so I look cooler, but fuck it. Remember where you heard it first. We think Don Jr. is going to run for president and he's going to win.
I think
Eventually.
I follow him on Instagram, man. Like I said, he has posted these memes.
He's
of
a
him.
cool ass dude,
Yeah,
bro. He
dude.
hunts.
Well, one thing.
fishes.
This is one thing I did not realize. I mean, I knew it, but I didn't think about it. And I knew his mom's from is Eastern European.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how because he's talking about all these socialists on the left side, and he said how his mom escaped communist Czechoslovakia, and his grandmother was still there. And when he was a kid in the 80s, before the Berlin Wall fell, before communism came crashing down in Eastern Europe, he would go to Czechoslovakia for 5 weeks a year in the summertime and spend with his grandmother
In a communist country.
in a communist country. He remembers standing in the bread lines.
Damn.
And, you know, you sit there and you think about the billionaire son, you know, being privileged and everything, but then you...
Going to a communist country to stand in the bread line.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, you know, he was young, he was a kid then, but he did experience that. And, you know, it was kind of eye-opener, like, and he was talking about his grandmother's still alive. She's 93. She lives in the States now. And he was talking about, like, how upset she is about, you got these, like, politicians that are running for president, talking about wanting to bring these socialist ideas over here. And he was talking about how it upsets his grandmother because, like, her grandkids, her great-grandkids, you know, this is going to affect them in the future. And she don't want them to end up living the same life that she lived.
So you didn't happen to see I did a podcast with a guy named Jonathan Uskatiki, did you?
No.
All right, so it's a plane. I was
Yeah.
like, what in the fuck is that?
You are close to the airport.
So so I did a podcast with this guy, Jonathan Uskatiki. He owns a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu place on Oleander. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's a black belt in Judo, and he was a world-class boxer. Bad fucking dude, right? He's an immigrant from Venezuela. He's writing a book called Foreign Born Observer. And that's what I had him on to talk to him about. And it's about how he's afraid that the United States, if we adopt these socialist ideals, that it's going to turn into what Venezuela has turned into.
And Venezuela was like, you know, one of the richest, if not the richest country in South
And it
America.
just,
yeah.
He said there's no middle class there. There's only the rich and the poor. He said people are walking hundreds of miles with their shit on their backs just to cross over into another country because they can't live there.
That's what's going to happen here.
Yeah, so, all right, I want to ask you this. If you could shake somebody, and if you could take Bernie Sanders or whoever, somebody with socialist ideals, and just shake them and tell them anything, what would you tell them? Like, if you could say anything and it would actually get through to their brain.
It wouldn't get through.
But I'm saying if you had a magic wand and you waved it and you're like...
Read freaking history books.
Okay.
That's all you got to do is study history. Like, these policies have never worked. So
Never.
I don't
Why do
know.
you think they keep changing the name of socialism? Democratic socialism. Like they changed the name and they try to re-implement it.
Well, in 2007, during the Democrat primaries, some of the candidates were like, "Don't call us socialists, we're liberals." Now it's don't call us socialists, we're democratic socialists.
Yeah, well,
You see
you
how
can't
it-
say socialist because everybody knows it does not work.
But they do, though.
They
They're
just
democratic
changed the
socialists
name,
now.
but they
Yeah.
just changed the name. They wrap it in a different box.
They're putting lipstick on it.
They're
That's what
putting lipstick on a pig, bro.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah. So, but anyway, when you do have time, listen to
Well,
that
no,
podcast
I wouldn't say
did with him.
lipstick on a pig. At least a pig, you can get fed from.
You
a
can
pig.
eat it.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but when you get a chance, listen to that one I did with him. He's a big Trump supporter. But he's like the only one I've had on that's a Trump supporter. So, I mean, I'm a Trump supporter. He says stupid shit sometimes, but like, dude, if I was president, I'd be saying way more dumb shit than he says.
That's what makes him, man, because like he's not pandering,
Yeah, he
You know,
just
he
pretty
does-
much,
he
he don't
does-
really have a filter.
and they talk about him like saying one thing and then saying another thing, and I don't think it's so much that he's not pandering. Like, I think he changes his mind.
Yeah,
Which
and
is-
he's kind of a populist a little bit. Like they can sway him as far. This is my opinion. Like what's popular at that point can sometimes sway Trump. Like he's on Twitter all the time.
Yeah.
Like he reads what the people think. I know Trump reads comments, bro. I know he fucking.
Oh, he's definitely concerned what people say about him.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, I would consider myself definitely a Trump supporter. And it's kind of hard to say now because people just fucking, nobody agrees with that shit. But it makes me like him more.
It's not
if you
as
don't
hard-
like somebody, it makes me like him more, honestly. That's just the way I am.
It's not as hard to say it now as it was in 2016, though.
It was hard to say in 2016.
Nobody wanted to admit it. That's how come you had these polls that were so out of whack
Yeah.
with Clinton winning
Yeah.
and Trump not, because nobody wanted to admit that they actually supported Trump
Right.
because of the backlash they now received.
Right, yeah.
But then after he actually won the election, people were like, okay, I'm not the only one. I think that,
Yeah,
But still, I'm kind of, certain places
exactly.
I'm still kind of afraid to say something about,
Yeah, me too.
because you automatically get.
I'm less now than I was, though. I'm kind of
Yeah.
like, I don't give a fuck. If you want to talk shit to me, fine. I don't care.
It's
I don't
just
care
that
anymore.
you automatically get like labeled a racist or
Yeah.
a fascist. I mean, I've been like on Facebook. I follow the Occupy Democrat page on Facebook, which is completely as far left as you can. And I don't know why I follow it because it pisses me off so bad. But I will make a comment on there and I will get attacked from like all different ends. And this dude like called me a fascist. And like I like send him a direct message. I'm like, what did I say or do for me to be considered a fascist? I'm all about the First Amendment. I don't care like how crazy your idea is. I don't care like how hateful it is.
You should be able to say it.
You have a right to say it.
As long as it doesn't incite violence, I mean, I agree.
Well, no, even when you say that inciting violence, that can be interpreted to shut stuff down.
If you're like, kill this fucking person, I just don't agree. Like, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be able to use your power to fucking hurt people. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, that I can. I get where you're going with that. It's just it's a slippery slope when you
It is
start.
a slippery. Same thing with the AR-15s. Same thing with that shit. For me, that's a slippery fucking slope. You want to come in and take an AR-15, but you're gonna let me have my pistol? Sure,
Well, see,
you
this is another
fucking
thing.
are.
You're talking about,
Sure, you are.
I just said something about pandering. Last year, when or what was it? 2 years ago, when Robert Francis O'Rourke Beto was running against Ted Cruz. He's on a radio show, and they asked him about the AR-15s, and they were talking about gun control. He says, if you have an AR-15, keep your AR-15, continue to use your AR-15. He was trying to limit the sales of them. But he's running against Cruz in Texas. He's running against a Republican, so he wants those moderate Democrat votes. So he has to lean that way. Well, now that he's in the Democrat primaries, it's like, let's see how far left we can go and how radical we can get.
This ain't the same guy that just
Yes.
No, it's not.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Then last night he's like,
Oh
hell
my-
yes, we're going to take your AR-15s, we're going to take your AK-47s, and then there was a
Wow.
There was a
Just shows you how fucking fake these people
Well,
are,
see,
dude.
what's so funny is Texas congressman, a state congressman from Texas, he replied to Beto. He said, my AR is waiting for you, Robert Francis. And Beto, responded back to him and was like, that is a death threat.
Oh, my God.
You or no one else needs you know better, or something like you or no one else needs an AR-15. And the thing is, I don't know how you can call that a death threat if you're threatening. Like he said, I'm going to take your AR-15.
Right.
Okay. If you take something, you're taking it by force. So you're sitting here telling a law-abiding citizen you're going to come and take their property. And then when they say they're going to defend themselves against you, you're going to call it a death threat?
But he didn't even say that.
No,
he didn't even say he was going to defend himself. He just said
my
AR-15's waiting for you.
It could have been in a box waiting for him to pick it up.
Exactly.
But
it can be interpreted any way.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for me, I'm not going to blow it out of the proportion. I'm going to be like, all right, well.
They reported him to the FBI and everything.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
dude. People are so sensitive. Fucking sensitive. I think the whole... Did you watch Dave Chappelle's special?
I've seen clips of
So
it. That
good.
is so, and what is so funny is, like, I think Rotten Tomatoes, the critics gave it like 26%, and it had like a 90-something percent.
How fucking
audience.
dare you give Dave Chappelle 26% on his special? He is one of the greatest comedians of all time, bro.
Vice called him the old uncle that doesn't realize he's disappointing you. Vox, not Fox, but Vox, VOX.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Vox is the guy that got Steven Crowder, demonetized. He works with Vox. They slammed Dave Chappelle. And it's like, most of the time when you got these critics and they're reviewing something, they'll show clips from the reviewing, even if it's like they're giving it a bad review. They're not showing no clips from Dave Chappelle.
Because it's fucking hilarious.
That's exactly right. They know if they're sitting there saying this is garbage and no good, and then they show a clip, people going to be sitting at home and they'll be like, man, this shit's funny as hell,
It's going to discredit them if they show a clip.
Exactly. But,
You got to watch it. But Bill Burr's is really good. Dude, Bill Burr's is, for me, it's just so ballsy, dude, because, like, you're a white dude and you're in England. He did it in England or London or some shit. Somewhere in the UK. He did it over there at Special, and they're pretty left-leaning over there, I'm pretty sure. I mean, their cops don't even have guns. Pretty sure in England, their police officers don't even carry a weapon.
That's what...
Or they have a weapon, but...
My knowledge is, like...
If you have a knife over there, you go to jail.
Yeah, I know that. I believe that they have access to guns, but their normal patrolmen, I don't believe.
Yeah, how
carry
crazy
guns.
is that? But he did a special over there. Dude, it's amazing. Like, he goes in on every group, like every, what do you call it? Like a small group. Like the
minority.
Yeah, like a small minority group. He goes in on every fucking one of them, dude. And it is phenomenal. And he's just like an angry dude. Have you seen any of his comedy?
No, I haven't.
Oh, my God. It's fantastic. He's one of my favorites. Him and Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, well, that's what got Dave Chappelle is because, like, he talked about, he called the LGBTQ whatever community, he called them the alphabet people because they got so many letters, And, but
these people are comedians, man.
I know.
Like, what they're saying has some truth to it. That's why it's so fucking funny.
Exactly.
But they're not saying this shit to be mean. They're saying it to be funny. If you can't laugh at yourself, what the fuck are you even doing?
That's the thing. You would think comedians would be the ones that get the pass with the, especially with the First Amendment.
Should.
Yeah, because, like, that's what they do. They sit there and make jokes. And then you got these people getting their feelings hurt because someone made fun of them.
Right.
Same thing with that guy with Steven Crowder. He got upset because Steven Crowder made fun of him.
That's what
And then
Steven Crowder does.
Yeah. And
Steven Crowder's a comedian. Like,
yeah.
Pretty good comedian. Like, as far as, like, yeah, he has some serious stuff, but it'll make you laugh.
Yeah, he's making fun of serious stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, but, yeah.
I love shit like that, dude. I love it.
I just
Make
don't-
fun of me. That's fine. Like, I do, like, open mic sometimes down there at the comedy club. And, like, I've had people going right after me and just fucking cut through me, dude. You know what I mean? And I think it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, that's great. That's probably the best part of your act right there, that you just went in on me. Like I did a set, and then I came off stage, and the guy was like, "And that's what happens when you never leave your hometown." And he was talking about me,
Yeah.
and I thought it was hilarious, dude, because like I had jokes about like where I grew up and shit. It was funny, and that was the best part of his act. Like the rest of his shit fucking sucked, but like that was funny. And then like I try to talk to him, and he literally walks right by me and doesn't say a word. I'm like, "Hey man, good set." Dude acts like he can't even hear me. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like people can dish it out, but they can't fucking take it.
Yeah.
Like I know. How old are you?
I'm 40.
Yeah, you're 40, so you grew up before the internet. Like you were a teenager and probably didn't have the internet and shit.
It was around, but it moved so slow we didn't mess with it.
Yeah, see, same. Like I'm
Yeah.
29 and it was still.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
like
we had AOL and shit.
Yeah, we would go like you gotta dial it up, and it makes all the little chirping noise. And,
Yeah.
and then, like, yeah. And if you like would like bringing something up, you like bring it up, and then you
That's
like you go like make you something to eat, and like maybe do the dishes,
And
do a
maybe
couple
half of it's
chores.
loaded.
Yeah. Then when you get done doing whatever you got to do, you come back and it's up there.
Do you think that the internet or social media has played like a huge part, or like in this whole division of the country type of shit?
Yeah, well, a lot of people are able to get their voices out there.
Yeah.
Why it's dividing everybody and not bringing it together, I guess because there's so many different opinions out there. But I think that's what the left is worried about, because you got people that now have a voice that didn't have a voice,
Right.
and they're really scared of these people. I think social media played a big part.
Why
in
do you
Trump.
think they're scared of these people? Because they just don't want to
Because
relinquish
it's-
control.
That and the same reason they were scared of Trump. You got these Republican never Trumpers that were scared, like Ben Shapiro, Glenn Beck, that did not like Trump. And Glenn Beck pretends he likes Trump now. Ben Shapiro, who knows? But you got these guys, they have like worked a whole life to get these conservative movements, agendas done. And with Trump coming in, they didn't know what he was going to do. They didn't know what to expect. They were afraid he was going to shake everything up.
Right.
And now they're so blinded by their hatred. He's actually like getting stuff done that they've tried their whole careers to do, and they freaking hate the man for it. So I
So
mean,
it's just out of pure jealousy.
some of it, yeah. Some
Yeah.
of it there. Phil, you got Candace Owens. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
You know, she's,
Black lady, conservative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she wasn't always
She
conservative.
works at the Trump campaign, doesn't she?
I don't think.
Or used to.
I know she
No?
don't. But she's heading up this thing called Blexit, which is kind of a play off of Brexit.
Right.
It's black exit from the Democrat Party. She was a Democrat. She realized, I think, after the election that a lot of the stuff they were saying was that the left was saying, the media was saying, was lies, and that she felt like the Democrat Party's never done anything for her race, and she threw her support behind Trump. She's able to get on social media, build up a following. She works with Turning Point, which I wish I could. Charles Kirk, I think his name is with them. He's pretty good too. And like these people have a platform now that people never had before.
So that's what they're scared of.
Yeah, and that's why you got these social media companies and these like technology companies. They're really coming down on people. They want to silence them.
Yeah, they're all in Silicon Valley, and they're all left-leaning Democrats
Yeah.
that run those companies, pretty much. Which is crazy to me. It's all ass backwards, bro, because these are billionaires that we're talking about. It just seems ass backwards to me. Like, you made your money off of capitalism. Like, capitalism is what pays you. But you want to support a socialist? To me, it makes no fucking sense.
Me neither. And what it is, they don't think that the policies they're implementing is going to affect them. They think it's going to just
I think they're
affect
untouchable.
Yeah, and they think it's just going to... Same thing happened when that guy went after Steven Crowder, and then YouTube started shutting down all this stuff. All these people were like so happy when Steven Crowder got demonetized. They were mad that they didn't like delete his YouTube channel completely. But then like some of their stuff starts getting demonetized. And they're like, oh, wait, we didn't mean for you to demonetize us,
Right.
you know? And they didn't think it, but that's what happens, you know? You try to silence voices that you don't agree with. it's going to end up coming back on you, and your voice is going to end up getting silenced too.
Yeah, right.
That's why I don't understand this whole like people calling people on the right fascist. You know, you're the one, especially Antifa. Antifa is a complete like
They are fascists.
they are.
They're
completely
anti-fascist,
fascist.
but they're fascists because they want to silence a certain group of people.
And it kind of sucks for
They want one agenda to get through, and that is it.
Yeah, and it kind of sucks for the Democrat Party. I don't know why the Democrat Party like defends them, because Antifa don't even like the Democrats.
That's their own stupid ass fault for defending those people.
Antifa is they're anarchist. That is what they want to implement, is anarchy. They stand for nothing at all. That's why it's Antifa, anti. They're anti-everything. They want complete chaos. That is it. But they sit there, they call everybody else a fascist, but they're the ones that's trying to shut down free speech. And it makes no, I mean, I don't know how people don't see that. Turning Points, the one I was just talking about, they, when all the Democrat candidates were in Iowa, a girl from Turning Points went up to each one of the candidates and asked them, would they condemn Antifa? You had some of them would not condemn them at all. You had some of them, they were like, we condemn violence in any form, you know, but they would not condemn Antifa by name. The only one I remember that actually condemned them by name was Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi was like,
I like her, man. She's badass.
Too. Tulsi was like, I'm on record. I've said it many times. I completely condemn Antifa.
Good for her.
There might have been one other than her that actually.
I bet you she scares the Democrats.
Why do you think she was not on that stage last night?
That's bullshit, dude. She's
Klobuchar and Castro somehow polled high enough to make it on that stage, but Tulsi Gabbard didn't.
That's crazy, dude. That is fucking
like, she's
crazy.
Polling
she's
high.
the only Democrat I would vote for on that whole.
Oh, the only one I would too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, only one I'd vote for.
I mean,
and even she has some super
that's what I was
left
about
ideals.
to say. Yeah, I mean, she is Democrat. I almost think she might be like more like a left-leaning libertarian than anything else.
Yeah, me too.
I'm more of a right-leaning libertarian.
I think she should have ran as a Republican and she could have won.
Yeah, she was. She could probably be considered a moderate, but she still got. I guess there's some things if you're in the Democrat Party you're going to have to fall in line with.
Right.
Another Democrat, he's not running for president, that probably should be a Republican, is Joe Manchin from West Virginia.
I don't know him.
He's the senator. When I lived in West Virginia, he was the governor. And he has actually voted with the Republicans on a few things. He kind of has to, especially when it comes to energy and coal. The Democrats are all against coal. When it comes to the presidency, West Virginia's a red state, even though they got blue politicians. And he knows he's going to have to go with Trump some ways if he wants to keep his seat. He's not stupid.
Right.
But, Manchin's one of the other few Democrats that I actually like. But,
That's crazy. Gabbard wasn't on that stage.
Yeah, I know. She had she had enough. They had to meet like 2 criteria. They had to have so many individual donors, and they had to be polling above a certain percentage in these 3 certain polls. And every other poll, she was like polling high enough, except the 3 polls that the Democrats were using.
Weird, dude.
I mean,
sketchy.
Especially after the last Democrat primary, like
where they fucked Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, they railroaded Bernie. So
yeah,
it kind of makes you wonder what they're. And also, like,
just hey, you know what we got to do? Sit back and let them fuck up, because that's what they did last time, and that's what they're going to do this time.
It's just scary that one of these people could actually become president.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to fucking happen, dude.
I hope not.
Ain't no way in hell it's going to happen. That dude saying that last night on that stage was the dumbest thing he could possibly say.
From what my understanding, some of the Democrats are not happy with that, because it was kind of a cardinal rule that, like, their agenda is to take guns.
Right.
That's the reason they want gun registration. They want law-abiding citizens to register their guns. That way, when it comes time to take the guns,
they know where they're at.
Yeah. And but the Democrats were never to admit that they're actually coming and they actually
'Cause
want to
they're
take guns.
sneaky.
Yeah. And he broke the cardinal rule last night. He actually came out and said, yes, I'm going to take your guns. You don't do that.
That's crazy, dude. I told you, he fucked up. Who do you think has a chance in the Democratic Party? Who do you think they're going to nominate?
I really don't think. I don't think Bernie or Biden really is going to do it. It might be Elizabeth Warren. And to be honest with you, right after Trump got elected, I said that Elizabeth Warren will probably be the one he's running against in 2020. I said that in 2017.
That will be hilarious if he runs against her, dude. He's going to eviscerate her.
And she completely lies. Like, she's up on that stage last night completely lying, talking about the health care, talking about like the top percentage is going to pay for everybody's health care, that it's not the middle class, it's not going to go up. She avoided the question about there was like one question she avoided completely where they asked her would like people lose their private insurance, which under her plan they would,
just like they did under Obama's plan.
Yeah, well, I think that was like, remember if you like your doctor, you can keep your
Yeah.
doctor. Yeah.
Yeah, you can keep them, but it's going to cost you twice as much fucking money.
Yeah, and also like this bill that Bernie wrote, it's like they want to pay doctors 40% of what they're making now. Like if they eliminate all private health care, that means the government controls the prices. And it's like she's sitting there talking about you got health care, and if they deny paying, if your insurance denies you this procedure, you know, that's going to cost you, you got to pay for it. Well, what does she think the government's going to do? The government's going to operate the same way. They're going to have to sit there and approve if you get the procedure done or not.
Look, here's my opinion. The government has fucked up everything that they've done. Everything.
Look at the VA.
Look at everything they've done. It's all fucked up. None of it works like a well-oiled machine, dude. None of it. Capitalism has its flaws, like anything does. But it doesn't have as many flaws as any government-ran program. They don't have any competition. They don't have any incentive to do better. Like, anytime I talk to anybody from a government program, there's very few of them that'll go above and beyond for you because their pay doesn't depend on it. Neither does their business. Their business doesn't depend on it. People have to go to these places. There's no choice.
I don't understand why these people want to give the government more control over their lives.
I don't understand that either.
It just dumbfounds me.
It's beautiful that you can come to this country and you can fail and be fucking homeless and not have anything, or you can succeed and have no cap on how much you can do and how much money you can make. That's what's beautiful about it. There's failures. That's how it is. That's life. Some people fail, some people succeed. And if you fail, you have to find a way to succeed, or you're going to be a failure forever. And I think there's your incentive to be better right there. If you take that incentive out, everybody's going to be either mediocre or just terrible. I mean, that's just my opinion. Like, there has to be incentive. There has to be a loser in order for there to be a winner.
That's the way I'm telling you. You have social classes. There's some people that are on the bottom. Sorry about your luck. That's where you ended up. There's some people on top.
If they come up with an efficient way to help these people on the bottom in these neighborhoods and shit, great. But I haven't heard anything yet that's going to help the people who really need the help.
And it's like...
I'm not against helping people. I'm not saying that.
That's what charities are for, man. I think the biggest problem in this country is I feel like some of the churches have failed. This is where like the churches should step in more and help people instead of like having these government incentives giving everything away. This is where your charities and your churches are supposed to step up and do what they're supposed to do to help people that are truly in need.
Right.
But taking like my money from me to give it to somebody that made poor decisions, no.
How are they going to learn if you just give them shit?
Exactly.
You know how I learned? By not having shit. That's how I learned. By not having a fucking thing. And then I realized I didn't want to be like that. So I rode a bicycle for a year until I fucking got enough money to get a car. But see, here's the thing. Everybody's viewpoint, unfortunately, is based on their personal experience. I mean, that's what I found out. This is episode 79 of the podcast.
Yeah.
So I've done 79 of them, and I've talked to a bunch of people like you probably have in your life. Most people's perspective and their perception of things is based on their experience of life. Have you realized that?
Yeah,
you realize that?
exactly.
It's pretty interesting, though.
But when you give people handouts, they're not going to do nothing for themselves.
That's my opinion,
like,
too.
Personal experience. You want to talk about personal experience? I ended up on unemployment for 96 weeks. This was during that time
Holy
where they
shit.
where they kept extending the unemployment.
What's that, a year and a half?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, almost 2 years.
Yeah, almost 2 years. It's like 104 weeks is 2 years. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was like about 6 weeks. What?
Almost 2
8
years.
weeks. Yeah, 8 weeks. About 2 months shy of 2 years. And guess what? I didn't find a job during those 96 weeks. Imagine that. I'm getting a paycheck every week. Why am I going to go look a job? You know?
Right.
Was it the right thing to do? No. I probably got in way more trouble than I would have if I was at a job working. But when you sit there and hand people handouts, they're not going to do nothing for themselves.
Right, and there are people who really need them, but it's the government, the way they run the program, they're not efficiently figuring out who really needs it and who really doesn't, and who's trying to better themselves and who's not. Because if you're not trying to better yourself, why should we help you? That's my opinion. Like, if you don't want to help yourself, why should I help you?
And see, the government taking my money, trying to tell me, don't trust me with my money, or taking my money to distribute it wherever, no. Like, okay, when it comes to taxes, it comes to defense, national defense of our country, that is a collective good, okay? You're taking my money, it's going to the defense of our country. It is helping you. I don't mind it helping you because I feel like it's helping me too.
Right.
It's protecting me.
Right.
But then you're going to take my money and give it to, say, you don't have health care, I'm working, you're not working, and then you're going to take my money from me to give it to you to better yourself with the health care. I'm like, that's not helping me any. That's not part of the collective good.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, being libertarian, you're not that big on taxes, but you understand there are some taxes that are needed that are good for good. Don't sit there and take my money and give it to things that I don't agree with.
Right.
And that's what the government wants to do. This whole global warming, climate change thing, this whole thing where they're fighting climate change, that is just another way for the government to control your life. It's a power grab. That's all it is. Because they can put more regulations on you. The same thing with Bernie Sanders and the population control. I don't know how the freaking media is like, skip the whole thing. The man said he wanted to fund global population control. Especially legalizing abortions in third world countries. Can you imagine if Trump had said something about population control and controlling the population the way they would have?
Oh man, we'd never hear the end of it, dude. But I never heard about that, Bernie Sanders saying that.
It was that way.
Do you think they're blowing it? Do you think that they're taking it and twisting it into something that it's not, or do you think that's really what he meant when he said it? Because he's talking about abortion, obviously.
Somebody asked him. It was a question somebody asked him, and because I watched it right before we came home on here, and he was like, "Yes, I'm for it." And then it got me thinking about it. You got Alexander Ocasio-Cortez, or Comrade Cortez, as I've heard her called. But she's on her Instagram feed talking about that she don't want to have kids because if she has kids, it will contribute to the whole global warming thing and the man-made climate change. And I'm sitting there after I heard that, and then
that is crazy to me.
It made me think about that. She's talking about she don't want to have kids. Now you got Bernie talking about a population control type thing, and I was like, there you go, right there. They want to limit our free speech. They want to take our guns, and they want to limit. They want to put a limit on the size of the population.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Hitler took people's guns. He took their free speech away, and he definitely wiped out a good part of the population.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the scary part is that they're already taking the free speech away.
Yeah.
That's the scary part. So to me, it just seems like a matter of time before something more extreme happens, because we've allowed them to. This is my way of saying fuck you to all of that bullshit. Because I say whatever I want on here, and fuck you if you don't like it, or that's fine. If you don't like it, I'll talk to you about it. So like, this is my way of like getting my free speech out there. You know what I mean? And I get all these different people with all these different opinions and outlooks, and like I can have a conversation with you about it. That's fine.
And I appreciate other people's opinions.
Yeah, me too.
That's how you learn. That's how you grow. And but you don't shut down one side because they don't agree with you.
Right.
I mean, that's not the way this country works.
Yeah.
You don't blacklist people that don't agree with you. You don't. It's like. Last night I kept hearing at that debate, they kept talking about Donald Trump dividing this country and hatred. I think it was Beto who even said we got a white supremacist in the White House. They're the ones that are sowing the seed of hatred, turning people against each other.
Right.
And I don't know, man. It's like, and it's like when they start losing a debate, then it's like they go straight to the race card, or you're a fascist.
Right.
And it just doesn't make. And people seem to be eating it up, man. And
we're not.
Yeah.
We're not eating it up.
But the sad part is, it's like all over the college campuses. You got these professors teaching these college kids, and that's what they're learning.
Yeah, and a huge majority of them are left-leaning.
Yeah,
liberals. I'm reading a book about it right now called The Coddling of the American Mind, and it's by Jonathan Haidt and somebody else. And it's super interesting, bro, like how they silence speakers before they even get onto the campus because they disagree with their rhetoric. And like they've just completely shut down any type of outside.
Oh, well, Berkeley was supposed to.
Oh, yeah, they're ridiculous.
That's supposed to have been like the birthplace of like the free speech and the civil rights movement and all that stuff.
Oh, they're so liberal at Berkeley, dude.
And
that's where the Brett Weinstein shit happened, didn't it? Or Weinstein?
Yeah, that happened like New York and California.
Well, something happened at Berkeley. I just read about.
At Berkeley, you had Milo Yiannopoulos.
Yeah, gay conservative guy.
Yeah, from England, and they like shut his they shut it down. They like that dude's hilarious too, man.
Oh, he's hilarious.
It's so funny. But they attacked Candace Owens again. Like here you got this black woman. She was eating dinner she was in Philadelphia eating at a cafe, like eating, and she gets surrounded by all these people, and they start yelling like racial slurs at her and stuff. This is supposed to be the ones that are supposed to be like the groups that are supposed to be like for minorities and everything. And because you got this woman that's a black conservative,
it doesn't agree with what they agree with.
What they agree with, then it's okay to like throw the racial slurs at her. I mean, it's
pull
just,
anything you can out of your ass to try to silence somebody who doesn't agree with you. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, and you got to have dialogue. And
you got to,
and people don't want to. I guess people don't want to hear it, It's like either their way or no way.
That's going to be... Dude, that's such a childish mentality. It's so childish. Like, if I don't agree with you, then just don't talk. That's so childish, dude. That's what turns me off about the left.
And see, I'm curious to go to that Bernie Sanders rally in Chapel Hill. And I really think I'm gonna try to go down there because I would love to see like the difference in the crowd,
right?
And see how some of them act compared to like the Trump. And trust me, I heard like at that rally, I heard some like naive like some people talking, and like I heard some like ignorant stuff said at this rally.
At the Trump rally.
Yeah, and it's just like the Fox News talking points.
Yeah.
I hear some of the people, where they definitely watch
Like they're
Fox.
they're in their little echo chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that probably goes on both sides, but I am interested in to see the difference between the crowds.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Trump carries a lot more energy than crazy ass Bernie does.
He carries more energy than anybody on that.
Yeah.
On
One
both sides.
thing. He did stay on script.
Did he?
Yeah, he did stay on script the whole time in Fayetteville. That's one thing I did notice. But I was kind of hoping he went off script a little bit.
Yeah. Get a little wild.
Yeah, he did say he was going to run again in 2024, which was funny, like, because he says that stuff just to trigger him, because he knows it's going to trigger the media. And I almost felt bad for the media because, like, he talks about the fake news, and like every time somebody says something about the news, you had the media set up in the back. Everybody in the room like turns around and looks at the media, and the media is kind of like set up in the middle of the room, so there was a crowd like wrapped all the way around them.
I bet they get scared to death, dude.
I don't know. They've probably been at so many of them now. They're probably like used to it, but it's I kind of wonder what like some of the media people like. What they really think having to see these rallies, like every time Trump has one, they're there at it. It was funny because like C-SPAN put out this video trying to say that the rally was empty, that there was like still a lot of room in there, and it wasn't, man. They had like thousands of people outside.
See, that's bullshit. Like, how dare you put that out to the American people, you fucking liar.
And
that's bullshit.
It wasn't
dude.
like it was packed in there. And then I saw a picture of outside where they had like stopped. Mark Dice is someone else I watch. If you get on YouTube, look up Mark Dice. He is freaking awesome.
I'll check him out.
Yeah, he comes out with like about a 5-minute video Monday through Friday.
Mm-hmm.
When they had that social media summit.
Mm-hmm.
And at the White House, he went to it. After that, they went back and like reviewed all his videos and like demonetized just about every one of them. Even videos that'd been up like 2 or 3 years, had no problems with. All of a sudden, they got demonetized. But he touched on the thing. He was talking about the Fayetteville rally, and he showed the C-SPAN, the tweet he put out, and then he showed the crowd outside the Crown Coliseum. And like that whole outside area, they had a big jumbo TV, jumbotron up there where you could see what was going on inside, and that whole outside was just covered with people that didn't make it in.
Wow.
There was probably just as many people outside that was inside. But
it just makes you think, like, what?
Oh, and then Rosie O'Donnell, like, it was funny because Mark Dice.
I think your mic's about to fall.
Probably with me sitting on the court ain't helping.
Yeah.
But
you got it.
It was funny because Mark Dice showed this video with what's his name, Fredo, the CNN guy. They just called Fredo, and he got mad, all upset about.
Oh
it.
yeah, I heard
Cuomo,
about that.
yeah, Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo's interviewing Rosie O'Donnell, and Mark Dice is playing it, but he edited it where it's like you still hear Rosie O'Donnell, but it's Miss Piggy standing in front of the White House. But she's sitting there going off talking about like talking about these rallies and all this stuff that people aren't showing up to them, and like Chris Cuomo, who's definitely not a Trump fan, even kind of called her out on it. And then she made the remark was like the only reason people are showing up to these rallies is because the Trump campaign is paying people to show up at these rallies. And so I'm like, what the hell's my check at? I just went to one, If we're being paid to go.
That's crazy. They just allow these people to say whatever they want.
Yeah.
Just straight up lies.
So
blatant.
President Trump, if for some reason you turn into Hunt for Greatness, I'm waiting for my check. I went to your rally.
Send this man a check. You're a billionaire.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. If you're paying us to go, I'm waiting.
Yeah, give him a sign next time, too. Like a real big, cool sign, dude. Yeah, so, Yeah, you know what? I want to have you if you do go to the Bernie Sanders. I want you to come back on the podcast and talk about the difference.
I'll do that.
Yeah, I was trying to get Jack Friedman to come on. Did you see me tag him on Facebook?
I didn't.
You said you knew Jack.
Yeah, I know Jack.
Yeah. See, I've been trying to get Jack on, but he's saying that he's nervous about doing it, which I understand. I mean, I was nervous about doing it. I still get nervous sometimes. Like if I don't know you really well, I'll get a little nervous. Like, am I going to be able to carry on a conversation and am I going to like piss this person off, or what's going to happen? So I haven't pissed nobody off too bad yet.
Obviously, I'd probably.
Your mic's about to fall again. If you angle it up like this,
like that.
Yeah. There you go. Bam. Just make sure you stay pretty close to it.
I usually don't think about pissing people off till it's too late.
But same. But yeah, I want to have you back on. Like if you do go to the Bernie Sanders, I want to hear the difference. Like I want to hear what he's saying at his rallies, because I've seen clips and I don't agree with a lot of what he says, and I don't know if he's ever said anything I agree with, honestly.
Well, it's like the whole we talked about it before, his whole "I wrote the bill" remark.
The post office. Yeah,
and so I did some research, and Bernie wrote like 200 something, almost 300 something bills. He's been
because he said I wrote the damn bill. I know what it says.
He's been in.
What bill was he talking about? He wrote
his healthcare bill.
Oh, okay.
And Klobuchar kind of crushed him on that one last night because she said you might have wrote the bill, but I read it, and she kind of busted him on it. Basically, her exact words was like, "It's a bad idea. It's not, But he's wrote almost 300 bills. He's been in Congress since 1991. Only 3 of his bills have passed, and 2 of them were renaming post offices.
And do you know what the other one was?
That one, I don't remember what it was. It's just the 2 post offices. And it was kind of funny because, like, I'm actually one of these people that will, on my days off, sit home and watch on YouTube these committee hearings and like Senate stuff. And one day I was watching, and it was like 2 hours straight. It was different senators. I didn't realize like this is how post offices, some of them that are named after somebody, get their name. But obviously the senator goes to the Senate floor, and I guess it has to go through the Senate, and the Senate has to vote on a name change for a post office. Mm-hmm. Say if we want the name the Wilmington Post Office downtown after Alex Hunt,
let's do it.
We'd send Richard Burr to the Senate floor, and he would say a little bit about you and why we want to name it after you, and then the Senate would vote on it.
Damn.
Well, 2 of Bernie's 3 bills that's exactly what it was.
Wow.
And talking about North Carolina senators, the funniest thing about the Trump rally was Tom Tillis getting booed.
Yeah, and explain why he got booed.
Tom Tillis, Republican North Carolina senator, he was elected in 2014. I can't remember what it was. It was earlier this year. There was a vote that was going across the Senate floor, which I've never been impressed with Tom Tillis anyway. And obviously I'm not the only one. But there was a vote going on the floor, and it was a vote that it was something Trump was pushing for, and it was going to be a close vote where I think they needed everybody that they could, and maybe a Democrat, or they just needed the what's the main senator? I can't think of her name, but she's kind of flaky. But they needed everybody on board with this, and Tillis was saying that he was going to vote against it. The morning of the vote, I remembered that I actually sent a direct tweet to Tom Tillis, and I'd like to take credit for changing his mind, but I'm pretty sure that I'm probably
you might have, dude. You might have changed his mind.
I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one to probably send him a tweet and emails and everything else. But basically, at the 11th hour, he changed his mind and decided.
Dude, you whipped him.
he
whipped
decided to
him.
vote with Trump. But I think by that time the damage was done. You know,
And that was it for him. He just
and he has another guy running against him. I can't think of the guy's name. We really don't. I really haven't seen the commercials for this guy. My parents live like outside of Raleigh, like about 45 minutes outside of Raleigh, so we get like the Raleigh TV stations and stuff. I see his commercials when I go to my parents' house. I see his commercials on TV. But this guy's running against Tillis, and I mean, it can't look good for Tillis if he's getting booed at a Trump rally.
yeah, that doesn't sound good.
If you're a Republican congressman, a Republican senator, and you're getting booed at a Trump rally, no, that's not
good. What got you so interested in politics?
I don't know.
Have you always been?
Yeah, I've always been interested in politics as long as I can remember.
Is there something that just like?
I don't know. It's just something that I'm just interested in. Something that fascinates me.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool because I don't know about a lot of the stuff until you tell me too.
Yeah, and I'd love to like learn more about like the inner workings because it's like, you know, they call it playing politics for a reason. You know, it's kind of like a game. There's a lot of like backroom stuff that goes on.
Who do you think controls the politicians?
So probably whoever has the money, I'm sure. You know, that's the way it works, whether you like it or not. You know,
That's scary, dude.
well,
But I agree with you. I think it's whoever's got the most money is.
yeah,
And I don't think we really even know who that is. I think they're so deep, dark in the shadows, or they have other people doing their dirty work for them.
Well, you got some that are out there that are known, like you got George Soros.
Yeah.
You got the Koch brothers. One of them just passed away. That's another thing too. Like that David Koch, I think, is the one that died, and you got people like celebrating that this man died. You know, that's just
Because of his political views?
yeah.
Bro.
So
It's a fucked up world.
yeah, and Soros. Talking about George Soros, he like I mentioned Vox, George Soros and Vice. You know, Vice News, TV. George Soros has dumped hundreds of $1 million into these two networks, these two news organizations, trying to keep them afloat, to keep the liberal agenda, going.
Because he knows how powerful the media is.
Yeah. And
that's one thing I like about Trump is he's taking a lot of that power back from the media, I feel like.
Yeah, well, see, that's what the whole thing we were talking about, the social media and them being scared. You got Mark Dice, who has like 1 point something million YouTube subscribers. Same day that he puts his videos on, he's getting like hundreds of thousands of views on each video. And that's with YouTube like trying to hide his search results and stuff for the videos that he puts out. He's still getting that, and he's doing it all with a laptop in his kitchen.
That's amazing.
Then you got Vice.
That is amazing.
You got Vice and Vox and some of these other ones. You know, you got George Soros giving them
multi-million-dollar.
He just gave one of them $250 million, and they squandered it all away. And you got Mark Dice in his kitchen with the laptop putting out videos.
That's amazing, dude. That gives me hope.
Yeah.
It does, dude. Like, anybody can be anything.
Well, Mark Dice, he started off, he got the idea from Jay Leno. And Jesse Waters on Fox News started doing it because Greg Gutfeld had said something about Mark Dice copying Jesse Waters, and Jesse Waters was like, no, I actually got the idea from Mark Dice. But Mark Dice would do like the man on the street type thing, and he's in San Diego. And he would go and he would ask people like questions like there's one where he goes to ask people where Mount Rushmore's at. Like American citizens where Mount Rushmore's at, and they don't know. The funny one, actually it's not funny, it's kind of scary and sad. He would have these petitions, these crazy petitions, and get people to sign them. One of them was banning people from trying to ban sales of the Bible on Amazon. And people were like, yeah, they don't need to be selling that. Or like banning like people like preaching in public, you know, whole free speech issues. He he had one petition that would essentially jail gun owners. Legal
And people
gun
were
owners,
signing
and people
these
are
things.
signing them.
Bro.
He went to the he went and talked to these people about eugenics, and he would tell them that Jay-Z is supporting bringing eugenics back, which is the North Carolina actually had a eugenics program all the way up to the 70s.
What is that?
Eugenics is where they would sterilize people,
Holy shit.
like undesirables, minorities.
Wow.
And like
To try to eliminate that
yeah,
bloodline?
yeah, we're like doing this like 30 years after the Holocaust.
Holy
North Carolina is
shit,
still
dude.
doing it. Yeah, they just like settled a lawsuit over it. But he's going to these people and he's like, Jay-Z wants to bring back the eugenics program, you know, because he's just showing like if you throw a celebrity's name out there, people would just go with it.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, I think that's a great idea. And I was like, or women's suffrage, you know. He's going to them about ending women's suffrage, which is the right for women to vote.
Mm-hmm.
And just because I guess they hear suffrage, they think of suffering, and they're like, yeah, that we need to put an end to that. And like they're essentially saying like,
He's just showing how uninformed people are.
yeah, that's
And
exactly
how
what he's
stupid
doing.
we can be.
Yeah,
That's crazy, dude. But it's so true.
Yeah.
And that's why we're in the situation that we're in. That's
Yeah.
why it's so important for us to keep an open mind and like hear different points of view. You know? To be able to hear another person's point of view can allow you to form your own unique point of view. Critical thinking is so imperative now, dude. You know, like the group think and the echo chambers is just it's toxic to society, bro.
but yeah, I was talking about like Mark Dice here. I went to go look something up, and I Googled Mark Dice, and all the videos that come up, like hardly any of them are actually videos that he put out. It's videos about him that people put about him. Most of them are the negative
And it's
ones.
just their algorithm that's
Yeah, they got their algorithm set up to kind of
Right.
like block it. Do you know who Brian Stelter is from
No.
seeing it?
If you showed him to me, I probably would know who it was.
Well, the thing is,
I don't really watch news, bro.
Brian has this like kind of high pitched voice. But with Mark Dice, whenever he plays a clip from Brian Stelter, he'll dub his voice over like with this like a high pitched whiny voice, and it's so freaking funny. Like he's saying what Brian Stelter said. He don't change what he says. He
Yeah.
just like redoes the voice. But let's see, petitions for crazy things. Let's see here. He went and had a petition signed where getting Hillary's supporters to endorse Karl Marx as her pick for vice president, and people were signing it.
Holy shit, dude.
There was a ban on politics or religion being talked about in public. He had a petition to see if people would sign it that banned politics and religion,
Wow.
and people were signing it.
Wow.
He had one. He got people to paint the White House brown because the White House being white links it too much to white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this guy a white guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to look him up.
Yeah.
For
He's
sure.
he's good. But he had one where to eliminate. He's had a petition to eliminate the Bill of Rights, and like
People were signing it.
So yeah, he was
Holy
like, yeah,
shit,
Bill of
dude.
Rights are outdated. And the thing is, the Bill of Rights. You know, the Bill of Rights is giving us our rights. They're not taking anything from us. It's what gives us. You know, he had one about the Fourth Amendment, and people were like, you know. He's getting them to sign it. We're like, yeah, we don't need the Fourth Amendment. And he's like, you know, and the Fourth Amendment gives us our right to privacy. It keeps the police from coming in our house without a search warrant,
Right.
you know? And people are like, he's sitting there talking to him, and these people are like just agreeing with him. And, you know, he's saying the most like ludicrous stuff, and the people are like, yeah, you're right.
I've
you know?
definitely seen this guy's videos because
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane, dude. It's insane. Yeah, but I want you to come back on whenever we can get Jack or Tim, or
Yeah.
come back on after you go to the Bernie thing, and we'll talk about the differences between them. But yeah, dude, this eye-opening, awesome podcast. I knew you'd have. We could probably talk 2 more hours.
Yeah.
I want to cut it right here, but I think that you have a lot of information and you've done your research. Like you've sat down and you've spent the time and done the research. And it's fun to talk to somebody where I agree with a lot of the same stuff, because I'm usually arguing or like disagreeing with people.
Yeah.
And I'll usually outnumber myself. So like I'll put 2 liberals or whatever on the other side, because like I want to try to see things from their point of view too. But it's fun to like have you on. Like me and Tim agree on a lot of stuff.
Well, I think it's important to know what the other side's thinking.
For sure. Just like it's important to know what we're thinking for them, you know?
Well, obviously it's not important to them.
It should be.
Yeah, you
It
would
should
think
be.
so.
A lot of people that, like normal people that you know, they'll listen to you though. Like if they are left leaning, they'll listen to what you have to say. And I've been unable to really get any points across, like where it's like, okay, well, yeah, I kind of see. The only point I've been able to get across, and it was on, I did one with this guy Bradley and this girl Mary Stewart, and they're both pretty liberal, right? Oh, you said you think,
yeah.
All right, so the thing that I feel like I kind of got across was like, if I allow them to come take my AR-15, what stops them there with the AR-15? And it's so true, man. Like what is going to keep you from coming to get my other guns? Yeah, they're coming. You know what I mean? Like, what's going to keep you from where's the line drawn? Because if we let you pass this line, where's the next line? And when are you going to try to pass that line? So I kind of got my point across as far as that goes. But they both hate Trump, dude. They hate him.
You know when you're debating somebody, you're not trying to convince the person you're debating. You're trying to convince the people that are like watching the debate.
Yeah.
That's who you're
I wanted to try to convince them, though, because I'm friends with both of them.
Yeah.
And I have guns. And I wanted them to see that why that is important to me for that to not happen. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I'm not going to say, like, I don't need an AR-15. Like, I don't have to fucking have one, but...
Well, the first thing is when it comes to guns, when our... it was meant for us to have the same weapons
as the military.
As the military.
Yeah.
And I saw somebody get, like, so freaking, like, dumped on the Occupy Democrats where they were like, well, where can I get an Apache helicopter? You got a tank sitting in the yard. You know, just going stupid. But it's like, I posted something last night, and it said that when our founding fathers wrote the Second Amendment, they did not just return from a hunting trip. They just got done liberating a nation when they wrote the Second Amendment. You know, it's to fight against tyranny. It's to fight against when the government does make a shift and go against what the principles of this country was founded
They're
on.
supposed to work for us.
Yeah.
The government's supposed to work for us. We're not supposed to do what they tell. Like, we're not supposed to be under their authority.
But that's what they want.
Yeah, and it's kind of what it is, unfortunately. But thanks for doing the podcast.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I want you back on. I think you got a wealth of information, and this is perfect environment for you. And I knew it from the first time I talked to you.
I love debating people, so you got to get me on here with somebody.
I can do that.
Yeah,
and I can be moderate. You know what I mean? I can try to see both sides. That's why one of the like strong points of doing a podcast. Is like you have to try to see both sides of it. Yeah. And then it's also as important to have your own views and to stand by those, you know, somewhat. But if you got 2 people on, I can try to see both sides of it. And I got a bunch of liberal people that'll come talk to you.
Them.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys, thanks for watching. Everybody, thanks for listening to the audio. You can find if you're listening to the audio, you can find all this stuff on YouTube, Hunt for Greatness Podcast. It's all on my website, huntforgreatnesspodcast.com. We're brought to you by Womack Electrical Contractors, so big thank you to them. If you need any electrical work done, call my man. It's 910-231-7679. Hit him up. And I think that's everything. So Jeffrey Jones, Alex Jones' cousin, thanks for doing the podcast. And much love to everybody. Thank you, guys.